Have you ever wondered if life as a child, those experiences and all the experiences that I've heard in the last 24 hours, if they're the heartache that you had to have to become the person that you were going to become to change humanity? Because that's how I feel. That you're living your life purpose because of the heartache that I've heard from all of you throughout the last 24 hours. So for me, I was born a twin. I have a twin brother. His name is Ken. He was always shy. And I'm the youngest of 6. So my sister was 14 when I was born, and she'd figured out that you have to have sex to have babies. She thought you had to have sex twice to have twins. She was horrified. Absolutely horrified. She just couldn't believe that my parents would have done that. So mostly my twin brother and I, we were enough for each other. Family of 6, if you had a birthday party, everybody was there. So him and I were just it, really, for a long, long time. And they used to call us trouble. Here comes trouble. But then it became here comes double trouble. So trouble became my underlying fear. I'm going to be in trouble, I'm going to do something wrong. And then my parents would say, well, if you do that, the policeman's going to come and he's going to lock you in the cell and he's going to throw away the key. So then I became afraid of everybody and everything, and I certainly became afraid of police. So double trouble, that's how I underpinned everything. Am I going to get into trouble if I do this? So my twin brother and I were in a school called a rural school. So in the middle of a big primary school, there's one room and there's 4 people in grade 1 and 2 and 3, and it's to teach teachers how to go into the country and work with people of different ages in the one classroom. So we weren't allowed to talk to the people in the normal school because we were special in the rural school. So at the end of grade 5, I was suddenly uprooted from this room and put in a normal school, into the other school where no one wanted to talk to me. And my twin brother was kept there. And I just couldn't understand what had I done so wrong or so badly that they would disconnect me from everybody. And I was that smelly, snotty-nosed kid that no one really wanted to play with because we didn't have hot water. So once a week you'd have to burn wood under a pipe to have a bath. Lucky I was the youngest, we got to bath first because otherwise 8 people bathed in that bath, really. So new children had come to school, they'd be asked to sit next to me, and within 2 days they'd have moved on. So I felt like I was alone, and that's what underpinned really my lifelong journey, was that sense of being alone. So to escape my aloneness, I went to Melbourne and became a nurse. And I didn't become a nurse because I was compassionate. I became a nurse because I wanted to run away from home. And so I went to the hospital. I didn't even know how to get to Melbourne. I found my way to a hospital and I managed to get an interview, and I told them I'd been looking after my dying grandmother because I didn't want to tell them I'd been sacked from all the jobs up until now. So my grandmother was alive and well. I'd never seen anyone naked, and I was horrified when they sent me in to wash someone. I went, no, they don't have any clothes on. Horrified, absolutely horrified. So after general nursing, I became a psychiatric nurse because I was better at talking to people. I could not believe how they treated people. I was horrified at the treatment of people, and so I started to go, we can't do this to people. But after a few weeks, I got muscled to the car by 2 big burly men who said, if you continue this, we're going to hurt you. So I was 21, weak, fear of being into trouble, right? They pushed that button, no pause. And so what happened for me was that I ran away. So I won't tell you the millions of certificates I gained in that time trying to make myself credible. And then when I was doing my PhD or starting doing my psychology, I needed money. So I purely went back to psychiatry, to a psychiatric unit for money. And what happened was I was in a unit, a brand new unit on its first day, and they took the people from the psychiatric unit and they plonked them in the new hospital with hospital staff also and expected them to be different. Now, they were so, controlled in their other environment that they become more aggressive and more violent. They were cavity searching women looking for razor blades. That's not allowed. You're not allowed to do those things. They were locking people up when they didn't need to be locked. And one particular person was locked in a seclusion room for 8 hours a day, and he was the same age as me. I was 40 then. And he would just bang on that wall all day to get out. So he was psychotic and he wasn't able to get out of his psychosis. So because they didn't like me, they locked me in the seclusion room every day I worked. So I worked with him every day, and one day I just got out a ball and we started throwing it and he started catching it. And he hadn't done anything for 11 months, nothing except talk, goobity-gooch. And we threw that ball for hours and everyone's walking past because it's a glass room looking, oh my God, he's throwing the ball. And the next day I actually wasn't in there. He became lucid, absolutely lucid. And I said to the nurse that was looking after him, quick, let's ring his mum. It's 9 o'clock at night. She's going to be asleep. I said, no, it doesn't matter if we wake her up. He's lucid. She can talk to him. She hasn't been able to talk to him for 11 months. We're not ringing him, Robyn. And I went, I tell you what, I'll take responsibility. We'll take him out of seclusion. I will sit with him on the phone. I won't leave him. I promise he won't run away. I will sit there. So he talked to his mother for 45 minutes. It makes me cry because it was one of those incredible moments. And he said to me, you're the kind one with the kind eyes and you never hurt me. It was just, And the next morning he woke up, he was psychotic and he never came back. It was just like they couldn't see it. But even in talking about it, I'm trying to make them wrong and myself right. So instead of running away this time, and, I have to tell you, they locked me in a seclusion room as a joke. They rubbed my name out of the roster so I didn't exist. They made reports to the manager every day about me. So I didn't even know what they were going to say the next day. I had no idea. So I decided to write my PhD on it, not run away this time. I had another opportunity. I interviewed every single person in the ward, even the perpetrators. And most of those people, nearly every one of them said they went against their core values and did things they didn't believe in because they were frightened they were going to be treated like me. They were afraid because as humans, we need to belong to each other. And I didn't get that. See, I had all this aloneness and I didn't get that I had to belong, really, because we survive by belonging. And in fact, it was writing this for today that really allowed me to see that with a bit more clarity. Because all these people, they all felt like if they didn't do the things that everybody else was doing, that they had guilt about, they were going to be rejected. They were going to be hurt. They were going to be wounded. And that, how hard is that, right? So I'm up to 1 minute, so I'm going to give you the faster version, which is I got to change the culture, which is really exciting. They allowed me to go back in and to change the culture. So I have to go back to my twin brother. So for 40 years I felt like I'd done something wrong. 40 years later I said to my dad, so why don't you tell me why you separated Ken and I? Well, you were talking for him. He wasn't developing. So we knew he needed to have a year on his own before he went to tech school to try to get him to develop. So we knew you'd cope, so we separated you. So all that time I thought I'd done something wrong, and I don't consider speaking up for my twin brother wrong. And it wasn't about me at all. It was about him. And all that stuff that happened to me at the hospital, it wasn't really about me. It was about them. They needed to belong. And I learned that to make the change, I had to belong to them. I couldn't make the change by standing out there and judging them and going, well, I know better than you and you did all these horrible things to me. I actually had to go in and go, how can this be different? And I needed to belong to them, all of them, to make a difference. Thank you.